Chaos in the Old World is a Warhammer board game in which players take on the roles of the four ruinous powers of chaos. Those are the god beings of chaos themselves trying to corrupt the world. Each of the four has a unique power and unique outlook on the world, which will allow players to relate to their character, as it were, differently. I think the game will be interesting to both Warhammer fans and non-Warhammer fans alike. For Warhammer fans, they have never played a game before in which they get to play the ruinous powers of chaos themselves, as opposed to an adventurer or a chaos knight or even an army. For non-Warhammer players, this will feel like a traditional area control board game, but with the twist of, instead of playing an army or a faction, you are playing a unique character with a personality and playstyle that you will be able to somehow relate to.
So the way that this game is unique from a lot of other games is that each one of the four chaos powers is played by a different player, and they all play completely differently. Khorne is a violent power, Slaanesh is a seductive power, Tzeentch uses magic to do all kinds of different things, and so your play experience is really different depending on who you are. So in order to understand the way that those are different, you've got to know a little bit about the four different ways that you can win. You can accumulate victory points. There's a 50-point victory track that you can win. Each chaos power also has a dial that sits on the board and twists as that chaos power does things that are unique to it. Khorne wins by killing people, and every time he kills somebody in a different region, he gets to tick up his little dial. And so the Khorne guy's always sitting over there cackling and ticking up his dial and killing all kinds of guys, right? But so Nurgle is slightly more subtle. He gets points from corrupting the regions of the board. And that is going to give him lots of victory points. Now, he also ticks his dial up by corrupting areas, but his dial is a lot longer than the other ones, and so it's going to be pretty unusual for a Nurgle player to win by moving his dial. Tzeentch, his special abilities are he gets lots of cards. Every one of the powers has this deck of chaos cards, and he gets to fill his hand up every turn. The other powers only get to draw 2 every turn, so he can play 5, 6 cards in a turn and really do lots of stuff, teleport guys all over the place and lock other players down and move tokens and stuff. Whereas Slaanesh is able to use those chaos cards as well, but in a more subtle way, controlling the other players and messing around with their stuff. Although there's 4 different ways that you can win the game, and although each chaos power has different strengths and weaknesses, none of them are better or worse than the other ones in terms of winning a game.
My whole idea with the map is, like, this is a map that if chaotic demonic powers were to sit around a map of the world, like, what would the world map be made out of? You know, it'd be made out of human skin, of course. After I'd gotten maybe like a week and a half into the process of actually illustrating the board, I forwarded it on to Games Workshop. They really liked the whole stretched skin thing in particular. So that was cool. And when I got the thumbs up from them on that, then I knew we were going in the right direction, and that's pretty much what we used for the rest of the components as well.
Even players who are not familiar with the world will feel like they are role-playing a character. Each of the 4 personalities has something for everybody to relate to, which is, in my opinion, something that is unique to this style of game.